What's good, everybody? You guys are checking out episode number 161 of the HoopDoctors.com podcast. Of course, I go by the name of Kevin Burke. To be perfectly honest, the writing was on the wall long before the trade ever went down, long before Kevin Love ever landed in Cleveland. The writing was on the wall, and Chris Bosh tried to warn him. He tried to warn Kevin Love that you're going to have to make some sacrifices. I mean, say goodbye to those gaudy, lofty numbers that you're putting up in Minnesota. If you join a team with LeBron James and Kyrie, but let's talk about just LeBron James, and you were the man on a team previously, forget about it. Those days are gone, and you got to be prepared to accept the sacrifice that comes along with playing with a guy like LeBron on a championship caliber team. If anyone knows that, it's Chris Bosh, and again, he tried to warn Kevin Love. And Love is not necessarily a role player in Cleveland, but you would never be, if you just landed on Earth today, you would never be able to tell that he was putting up, again, those numbers, a double machine, in Minnesota. You'd have no clue because he's doing his thing on the perimeter. Again, he shoots way too many three-pointers. That's neither here nor there. That's for another podcast. Man shoots way too many three-pointers. But he just roams the perimeter. He grabs the occasional rebound. He scores his occasional points. He's never really immersed himself into the offense, and that's really manifested itself. Despite the Cavs winning, how many games was it in a row? 11, 12, whatever it was. They reeled off a nice little winning streak, but Kevin Love really wasn't a huge factor in some of those wins. He complained about his role. He's not really scoring. So winning doesn't necessarily cure all because, again, they were winning, but he was still unhappy with his role. Why? Because he came from Minnesota where he was the man. This is new to him. He has no idea how to adjust and how to adapt to not being the man, not getting the ball in his hands, and essentially he doesn't know how to deal with winning either. So all of that as a backdrop, LeBron is not happy with Kevin Love complaining about his touches and complaining about his role. So LeBron sends out a subtweet aimed at Kevin Love, but not really at Kevin Love because he doesn't mention his name, which is completely crazy and completely uncalled for. And LeBron says, quote, in his tweet, stop trying to find a way to fit out and just fit in, be a part of something special, just my thoughts, close quote. I mean, as a leader, I can't think of a worse demonstration of leadership than that tweet LeBron sends out. I mean, he doesn't even mention the guy's name. He sends a subliminal shot. He subtweets his own teammate, LeBron James. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? And, of course, he gets asked about it. And, yeah, he acknowledges, yes, that was about Kevin. It's no coincidence. That was his direct quote. It's no coincidence. His answer, his response, and his reasoning for tweeting that out didn't really make any sense. After listening to LeBron explain why he tweeted that, I was left feeling that you probably should have left that in-house because what on earth do you think would come out of that positively? Do you think Kevin Love is going to read that and catch wind of that and say, oh, LeBron, you're right. Thank you for talking to me through social media. And now I get your point. That's the dumbest thing LeBron he could have done with the entire situation. It was irresponsible. Is what it was from a leader. So a day goes by and all the blogs and everyone is catching wind of this and saying LeBron threw a subliminal jab at his teammate. That's what he did. There's no way to slice that. There's no way to dice that. There's no way to sugarcoat that. That's what he did. He threw a jab at his boy Kevin Love. So LeBron goes back on Twitter and says, I quote, I like you guys a lot, the media, but don't try to make a story because it looks good. If I have a problem with the teammate or anyone, I'll say it to their face and not over social media. That's corny and whack. So good try again, my friends in the media. I still love you guys. Close quote. Timeout. 20-second timeout, LeBron. 20-second timeout. Make a story. We took your exact quote and you confirmed that you tweeted it about a teammate. What story was made up? And what do you mean you wouldn't say it to someone over social media? That's what you did. That's exactly what you did. I don't understand. What in the world are you talking about? The only reason any of this is news, LeBron, because you decided to pick up your phone and tweet about Kevin Love rather than picking up your phone and calling Kevin Love. That's the only reason I am wasting my time talking about this on this podcast. A few weeks ago when they announced the All-Star reserves for the West and Damian Lillard's name was not called, I immediately thought that was the most egregious All-Star snub that I could remember in recent memory. It just didn't make any sense. His numbers this year were far better than his numbers last year where he was an All-Star, but that's neither here nor there. And then a few days later when they announced who would replace Kobe, and it was DeMarcus Cousins and not Lillard, again, I'm thinking, man, they're really giving Lillard the short end of the stick here. I don't get it, you know. I don't get why he wouldn't be an All-Star. I mean, all those guys are deserving. DeMarcus Cousins, absolutely. But you look at the fact that Portland was number 3 in the West, and like I said before, Lillard's numbers this year better than his numbers last year. I don't get why he was left off. But having said all that, that was the most egregious snub I can remember in a long time. That absolutely is no reason for Lillard to start crying on social media and writing all sorts of, Instagram posts about how hurt he is. You would have thought that the Blazers sent him down to the D League the way he was responding. Again, he deserves it. He definitely deserved it, but the way he reacted was ridiculous. I mean, to post I've never seen a snub act so deeply hurt and deeply wounded like Lillard was. I mean, his letter that he wrote where he, to vent his frustrations, I want to thank the coaches that didn't think I was good enough. I want to thank the commissioner for not thinking I wasn't good enough. Are you serious? Stop crying, man. You didn't make it. I get it. Listen, far be it for me. I don't play in the league. I don't put my body on the line every night and do something where I think I'm putting myself in the position to be recognized as one of the best in my craft. I'm not doing that, although I am good at what I do here. But I'm not doing that in terms of being an NBA All-Star. So I don't want to say he doesn't have the right to be upset, but I just think he went about it the completely the wrong way. It just didn't make any sense. So when Blake Griffin got hurt, part of me was like, I kind of hope they call Mike Conley's name. I just want to be amused to see what Lillard would do, if he's not even the third guy, or rather the second guy, to make a Western Conference reserve as a result of someone being injured. So he deserves to get in. Again, an egregious snub, but just the way he went about it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought he just complained a little too much. But he's in, and I'm happy for him because we don't have to hear any more rants. But that's all I got, folks. Podcast number 161 in the books. Listen, next time I hop on one of these here, we got to talk about the Hawks. I got a lot to talk about with regard to the Atlanta Hawks. Should we buy into this? I know 17 in a row, or whatever it was. It's a huge number, but should we buy in? Tune in next time. I got to get some Hawks stuff off my chest. Until then, I'm Kevin Burke. You guys be good. Take care.